Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another bout of Propagandacast news with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of News. There's already been an update here to the December balance preview, apparently in response to people apparently not finding their decisions to nerf the Wehrmacht late game and Panthers to be an amazing idea. So they're listening, that's good. Less good is they apparently are still tone deaf. Because the decision is basically, in the case of the Wehrmacht, is to make it slightly cheaper to go for Tier 4 if you've already teched up to Tier 3 and gone for it. Basically, if you try to rush for it, there's absolutely no change. So what they basically achieved is absolutely nothing in making Wehrmacht Tier 4 more viable, because the main problem still resides there, which is it's just not very good for the resources you have to invest plus the time. They're also apparently forgetting the time investment. So the overall end result is still, what's the purpose? Like, you're not fixing anything people are complaining about, which is that Wehrmacht Tier 4 is just categorically not worth it. You're better off just going for Tier 3, pumping up Panzer 4s and Stugs, than trying to go for a Panther unless you're sort of really far ahead, at which point you could also just go for a lot of Panzer 4s for the same resources. But in other cases, you're just basically losing too much momentum and time trying to push for a Panther, and it just does not have the impact, make up for it. In particular, not when, again, you're the faction with the squishiest infantry. So we're basically still stuck at the balance team being completely tone deaf and completely missing what it is people are complaining about when it comes to Wehrmacht Tier 4, which is it's just not worth it in the first place. Or the fact that, again, Wehrmacht late game in general is just pretty weak, despite it's supposed to be the late game faction. Again, they're not doing anything there to give the Wehrmacht an actual late game. Nothing really goes, wow, that certainly feels like a Wehrmacht late game, rather than just, well, no. I mean, there's just nothing that really identifies it as Wehrmacht there in the late game. So, yeah, there needs to be a late game. Again, something with infantry, but otherwise just making Tier 4 better. Maybe, slightly buffing the Panzer 4 in some way. Again, abilities would be a good way. That way the team game players can just spam them away, and they're not going to get better for them. Whereas from 1 versus 1s, we can actually exert some skill to get a bit of extra juice out of them, maybe make them feel a bit more, quotation marks, elite. So it still feels incredibly tone deaf for what they're doing there. They're trying, but it feels like they're just not understanding what is being complained about. Like, there's just white noise. They get the idea the white noise is about something with the Wehrmacht and the nerves, but, like, that's basically all they're getting. They just can't apparently understand English when it comes to the Wehrmacht late game. I don't know. Just, again, complete, utterly tone deaf, if not downright deaf, and just unable to seemingly pass what it is people are generally upset about when it comes to the Wehrmacht late game. Go figure. As for the Oberkommando West, they're nerfing the Sturm Pioneers without doing anything to make them more viable, so what they're basically doing is making the Sturm Pioneers even less good. Again, we're back to the whole, well, they could fix the Volksgrenadiers and, buff up the Sturm Pioneers to make them more viable, but no, let's just nerf the Sturm Pioneers only, and of course just further force them into a narrow set of choices. Bit like, with the Wehrmacht in the late game, again, they're basically just further enforcing what few choices they have, not by making them better, of course, just by making any other choice worse. And that's basically the same here with the Sturm Pioneers, but just further cutting down the repairability, but not compensating in anything else. I mean, they're just going to further only just push Oberkommando West players into Volksgrenadier spam, Panzerfusil spam, any other infantry but the Sturm Pioneers, because the Sturm Pioneers are still, as an infantry unit, not very good unless you get incredibly lucky and completely destroy your opponent with them so they can veteran up really fast. So, again, there's a distinct sense of tone deafness. They're making the Panther slightly cheaper by cutting off 15 fuel. That opens up some options, certainly makes it stand out more in comparison to the Command Panther. That's something, I suppose. I mean, but, of course, also that makes the Panzer 4 look a bit worse in comparison to it. So in that regard, they need to maybe also look at the Oberkommando's Panzer 4. But at least, you can actually push out a Panther slightly faster. You can also maybe get an arm. So, it does, I suppose, make the Oberkommando's Panther just a bit better, a bit more of an actual option, which is good. good, but if you sort of consider that want to stop spamming, making it cheaper in theory sort of only makes it in a slightly more spammable. So again, we're sort of back to the do they know what they're doing sort of feeling. And then we're sort of looking at the Americans. They have buffed the re-echelons by removing some of the penalties they suffer when they try to use Wallify on the re-echelons. That's not too bad, I guess. Not exactly no power ability, but it does have some tactical utility, so fair enough, fair enough. And the smoke for the mortar can basically be fired a bit faster. That's sort of largely it. So that sort of covers it. I mean, again, just the continued sense that they're just completely out of touch with the Axis players, and even willingly so, because, I mean, just how do you get around to the idea that when people are upset, what they want is, not for the Wehrmacht Tier 4 to become better, but just slightly cheaper if, you have already researched your Tier 3 and built it. Like, just what's the logic behind that one? I wonder, because I don't get it. I just don't get it, unless, again, you're just so completely out of touch with the actual game that it somehow seems like an amazing idea. It's a non-solution. It's not even a Band-Aid solution. It's a von Munchausen solution, A lot of hot air and absolutely nothing behind it that actually satisfies people. So there you go. I mean, I hope, again, more of this critique and more people just pointing out that this is actually just a load of hot air might, further perhaps break through the white noise and make the match, begin actually doing something more constructive with the Wehrmacht's late game, rather than just constantly nerfing them and shifting things about, but actually not doing anything positive for it. And also for the Studio Pioneers for the Oberkommand West, who are also stuck in a pretty weird situation where they're sort of not very good. So there you go, my thoughts here in the first update for the December Balance preview. They're sort of listening, but they're not listening very well, is sort of, I think, the sort of best way to put it. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe to it, and of course, like what I do, consider donating or pledging on Patreon. And of course, a big thanks to all my Patreon supporters who do support me. This is Imperial Dane signing off, and see you all for the next update to the December Balance preview. Cheers.